to regain his title, Eddie Fiola.
On this episode of Factor Freestyle.
Hey, guess what?
You tell him.
What are we telling? This is Robert Castillo on the phone. We're live on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, all that stuff.
Damn.
So,
I'm here, there, and everywhere.
right? So we're here with Dave Voelker.
This is Dave Voelker, who's sure to get the crowd on his side because he's a San Diego resident, born and bred. This is his first competition after 7 years out, and what a start!
Robert
Castillo, he's on the phone, and we just heard that GT was closing their doors.
Ooh.
And we'd like to say it was a fun ride, but I think GT had passed away a long time ago, the company, after we left.
Absolutely.
But I left a long time ago. Dave still has a bike out.
Oh, I rejoined.
How rad would it be if, Gary Turner left, GT and sold his portions out for, I'm sure, a good hefty amount, and we worked our asses off for a very low amount. It'd be cool if you made us all partners and we bought it back and turned it back all around.
There you go. Eddie Fiola is going to rejuvenate GT bicycles.
Right? So that's the thing. It would be kind of cool if we were able to buy back GT and then actually have Craig Turner building the bikes in the United States.
That would be rad.
So, but that's a pipe dream, and we don't have that type of money unless there's a like button and there's a money button that you could press to fill our bank account so that we can buy GT back. Just saying.
Can you imagine? Think about the money that Gary made from it and left with, and to come back and buy it literally pennies on the dollar.
No, I hear you. I hear you. That would be great.
Yep. We're actually, you're live on the interweb right now.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey,
All
so,
right.
so anyhow,
I'll talk to you, buddy.
You got it. We'll talk to you later, Robert.
All right, guys.
Later.
Dave, what got you into riding BMX?
Evil Knievel, actually, just growing up. I mean, the neighborhood was, as you know, back then, it was like who could do the longest wheelie. And it was a huge deal, and who could jump the furthest and all that. And I just kept going with it. All the older kids would make me jump further and further until I would crash. And that's just, I was that guy.
So you had other people that were riding BMX prior to you?
Yeah, well, the older kids, right?
Yeah.
They had the Schwinn's with the slick back tire and doing peel outs in the mud and riding long wheelies with banana seats and sissy bars. Mm-hmm. So that was my era. I mean, it was basically the beginning, right? Butterfly handlebars and jumping, and your bars would slip and all that. So
now, you're still in high school or junior high, and you're getting into BMX and you're starting to ride and you're doing better. At what point in time do you start to enter contests?
So I was doing freestyle. Like my whole beginning was actually starting to roll down the street backwards because nobody was able to do that at that time. And me and a guy kind of started together and doing it, and we'd go to the roller rink entertaining people, all that. And then I just kept going with it, and he kind of went into driving cars and chicks and all that. But
yeah.
I kept going, and I got a pretty good name, and I had a buddy that said, hey, we're taking you to a contest, we're paying your way. The girl that sponsored me at a bike shop, she was dating Byron Friday.
Oh, wow.
And she got me a pair of Toby Henderson's old leathers, and I unstitched his name, but you can still read it. I wore the leathers.
Were those
and all
the
that.
Hutch leathers?
No, they were blue SEs, I believe.
Oh, okay, when he was still riding for SE.
I
Gotcha.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then,
basically they sent me and forced me to go to this contest because I was well developed at the time. I was at a very high level, but I never left my town.
right. You were the best there would be, as far as you knew, in your town.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a way I tell people to start out. If you could be the best in your town, then you start
Right.
going out, you know. But make sure you're the best in town first.
What? And when you entered this contest, what bike were you riding at that time?
What was my bike at that time? Schwinn, I believe.
Was it?
I think.
Was it like a
so.
scrambler
Or no, they got me a quad anchor.
Oh, okay.
Quad angle. They got me a quad angle, and
Right.
that kind of, they sent me up to that contest on one of their bikes. Yeah, so I was co-sponsored by SE.
Right? Hey, I think everybody was co-sponsored by SE at one time. The SE gave me a quad angle at one
Really?
time, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I got that from Scott, and well, I think Scott gave me that bike to get me out of the trash can because I was dumpster diving every day that I could, because they would have all these parts inside their trash can, and
See, yeah, we come from the same, yeah. I would break parts, and I couldn't afford to buy
Right.
any parts. Like, I didn't have a paper route or anything, you know. My parents were broke.
right. And I'm not sure if anybody knew this, but I mean, back in the day, the Schwinn Stingray was guaranteed for life, and if there was anything that broke on it, they would replace it with no charge.
Wow, I did not know that.
So
Never heard.
I found out about this, and so when I needed a new frame, I would take the kickstand and kick down on it in the opposite direction where it's supposed to work, and I would break off the kickstand. I'd bring it back, I'd get a new frame, it'd be brand spanking new, it'd be blue, I had a red, yeah, it was cool. But then, you know, like between 3 and 4 frames went through, and they stopped giving me bikes. So,
Really?
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know they could stop that. If it's a
Yeah,
lifetime.
well, I know it's a lifetime, but the bike shop that was giving them to
yeah.
me, they kind of caught on. So, so you enter this contest, and how'd you do?
I ended up in, I believe, 3rd place, right behind Tony Murray, and I forgot who won.
So you
Like,
entered ramps,
Yeah.
you know, flatland.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe I did a 540, you know, a quarter of the way up the quarter pipe, which is a big deal back
Oh yeah, it's
then.
a huge deal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just knowing that front wheel could catch.
Yeah, exactly. You had to lift it really high.
Um,
Yeah, so that worked out. Actually, that contest, Schwinn, or not Schwinn, but BMX Plus wanted to do one of their shootouts, right?
Oh, nice.
So they had all the different bikes, and I was on a Schwinn Predator, and I ended up being on the cover with like Diz and all these. Maybe you were on there too. I believe you
So
were.
when you
there
were
were
on-
like 5 or 6 of us on the cover.
right, when you did that for the shootout, did they give you a Schwinn?
No,
Or were
no.
you test riding?
It was a test ride.
It was
yeah.
a test ride.
A test force. Yeah, I wore the test force.
Right, I think
jersey, yeah.
again, I was a test rider. Martin Aparicio was a test rider. Dave here was a test rider.
Yeah, because you guys all had your sponsors that
Yeah.
were on the cover, and then I was test force. So.
Yeah, very cool. And when you heard about the movie Rad coming out, what did you think?
It was a big deal to me and my buddy Tony Adams that got me up to the contest. His dad drove us up there, and his dad was like, "Yeah, we're going to this." So we went and checked out the movie. It was killer, man. It was
So
cool
was there
to
a
go
lot of
see, like,
was there a lot of people
a
else?
movie about BMX
Yes.
meant a lot. It
No,
was a
there
big
was
deal.
no other movie at this point in time in the theater that on the big screen.
Oh, absolutely not, right?
Right.
Like, if you've seen a commercial with somebody doing a trick, that was a monster deal.
Right. So, when you went to, I know what the theater was like when I went. How many people showed up at your theater to see the movie?
See, now you're somewhere I can't remember things. I
all right.
cannot. Yeah, it's a trip, man. I try to remember where it was, or I
Right.
have no memory.
So luckily enough, like I knew exactly what movie theater it was.
Nice.
It was down the street from my old Lakewood skate park competition, and the Lakewood skate park right next to it was the Lakewood theaters.
Huh.
And you know, I was telling all my friends, "Hey, I'm going to be in a movie. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that," and everyone's going to hooray, hurrah, and all the people are going to know who I am. We get to the theater, and it's me and my 7 friends. That's it. No one else in the theater.
I think it might have been like that now that you mention it.
No one else. I mean, it was the only guys that rode bikes, and we were the only ones that went and watched the movie at that point in time. Maybe we seeing the premiere or the day shift of it. Nobody else was going at that time, but yeah, not a whole lot of people.
Dude, that's funny though. Like, yeah, because our sport was so small at that time. How would the word spread?
Yeah.
Like, people didn't even know what the hell we were doing on bicycles at that point.
Let alone being rad. Yeah. Everybody used the term. Everybody in the 80s. Oh, that's so rad. That's rad. That's rad. And I think that's why they used that name for the title of the BMX show. Anyhow, but did it do anything for you? I mean, did you rent it afterwards once it was no longer in the theater? Did you?
No, it was more of like I got to see all my friends at the beginning and like I was friends with Blyther at the time, and so I was able to see these guys that I was looking up to, like yourself, and I didn't look at magazines. I just kind of would catch bits and pieces, and that's kind of how I figured out the sport. But I literally was in my own world of riding my bike, and that's all I thought about and cared about.
Right. Because you didn't look at the magazines, a lot of the stuff that you did in BMX ramps and freestyle was out of your mind. It was, thinking outside the box.
Well, this is the perfect example. Like when I made up the turn down, which is a look down back then.
Right.
I was trying to go up in the air off a quarter pipe,
Yeah.
and then come down backwards and then turn around at the last second. But as soon as I got to the peak, I went and I twisted and it just folded into the position.
Wow. Right.
So that's exactly,
I've told people that most of the tricks in the 80s that escalated or developed were accidents.
Nose pick, tail whip. I bunny hop up onto a boulder to do a nose pick, and I was falling the wrong way. I jumped off. As I was jumping off, it swung around, and I said, "Wait a minute, I'm onto something here." So
jump back on, nose pick, tail whip.
Yeah.
All by accidents and making it and then making it again and then again and again.
Yeah.
One right after another. What's funny is that I remember the cover that you got. Lately, I've been driving my car around this one windy road, and there's this huge rock. And every time I come past this rock, I think of Dave doing this big abubica, or stall or
it's an abubica.
Yeah, just nasty, just hard stuff. But
that worked out really good because I was just hiking with my first 2 kids way back 25 years ago, and I'm hiking up a trail and I seen this rock and I saw a rock in front of it and I go, wait a minute, I might be able to do that. That would be cool someday, whatever. Blew it off. 2 days later, I get a call from Mark Losi. Hey Dave, you got anything like awesome, because I got a special cover coming up. I need a photo. And I was like, you know what? I thought of something the other day. Let me go see if I could build it. And I did, and told him what time to show up with the lighting.
You wouldn't want to recreate that, would you?
Oh, I would love to for my son to do it.
Ooh, I know a rock. That has got your son's name all over it. We'd have to, guerrilla style, come in, early morning, hit this thing to where nobody sees us do it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's literally at this guy's driveway, and it's just this huge rock.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. He would foo-foo or something,
Right.
Not many
I'm gonna start making the ramp just for setting it up.
There you go.
Just gonna go there and calculate it out.
That's pretty much it, because I got to go pick up kids from school, man.
He's got kids.
Yeah. Nobody said I was smart in my 50s having more kids. What an idiot.
Dave has a full-time job. And women, yes, we know it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
and Dave agrees to it. But you're lucky enough that you get to stay home, and you get to, not that you're staying home, but you get to see your kids growing up.
Yeah.
Now having your oldest son take after you? What is...
That was a lucky situation. I don't know if people know, but he used to be a scooter rider. And everybody was pissed at me for letting him ride a scooter. And I'm just like, whatever, you know, he's having fun. And he got some sponsors. And I kept telling him, watch, though. One day he'll just switch over to BMX and he'll have all the skills because he learned how to do all the tail whips and everything on the scooter. And it ended up working out to where, yeah, he could kill it on a bike, a scooter, motorcycles. He's like into all the wheel things.
So Cole Voelker.
Cole with the K.
Cole, he rips. If you get a chance out there, Google his name, YouTube his name, look up, you know, Cole and see what he has done and what he's going to do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I almost saw that.
Shoo!
Sheesh.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Holy,
Yeah.
out of here.
Friendly reminder of the speed limit, sir. Okay, listen, young man, you're not allowed back in that ball. Dude, that was insanity. Bro, the man you moved down.
one of the nicest guys around. I've seen him at shows where he puts his bike down, he talks to a bunch of kids, and it's really humbling to know that he thinks outside the box, and he also thinks within the family of BMX. You know, he's always thinking about somebody not able to do it,
Yeah.
and
Respect, yeah.
he's always helping out. So anyhow, that's our little short subject we're doing here today.
Right
Dave's
on.
got to take off, go take a, you know, he's got errands to run and kids to pick up, and I've got to go find a ramp. So I'm gonna take a picture of this rock when I get home.
Dude,
So
yeah, that'd be cool.
you'll like it. So
Right on.
stay tuned. Somewhere around here, you're gonna hit a like button. You're gonna hit a subscribe button. You're gonna send money somewhere. We're gonna do something, but we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna try to keep these things going. So
Right on.
thanks, Jason and Kid, for letting us use some chairs.
Thank you.